TV. This is Tym Moss, and we are at the rooftop party, or the rooftop bar of the Park South Hotel here high above Manhattan for Imperial Legacy Fashion event during Fashion Week. And I am here with the one and only James CHEN. How are you?
Hi, Tim. I'm so great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Oh my God. Isn't this fabulous?
It's beautiful. It's such a perfect night, too.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It could not have gotten more perfect. The weather, just the crowd, the people.
It's a very fancy group of good-looking, well-dressed people here.
Yes, and the creativity. That's what I love. Is everybody just very open and kind of anything goes, and I love expression like that.
100%. It's kind of like the vibe of the Imperial Legacy brand. From what as I'm getting to learn about them, they have those kinds of adjectives that you were just describing. So it really all just comes together real nice. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, now James, we're going to talk about your acting career in just a minute.
Sure.
But because you have been on The Walking Dead. That's what a lot of people know you from FBI, which is currently shooting now. But let's get to know James CHEN a little bit.
Okay.
So where are you from? New York originally?
I'm from New York State.
Okay.
Yeah, Long Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very...
That's practically New York City.
Sure, yeah.
New York's a big state.
Yeah, that's right. It's like New York City adjacent.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Can't exactly see the skyline from where I grew up,
Right.
but close enough.
What part of Long Island?
The North Shore of Suffolk County.
Oh, okay.
So it was honestly a pretty boring, typical suburban kind of childhood. Strip malls in high school.
Yeah.
And driving lessons around the road.
So in high school, did you get the acting bug there, or?
In a weird, very indirect way, like in high school, that's when I actually started watching, kind of as like a nightly ritual. My dad and I would always watch The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Occasionally we jumped to Letterman, also fantastic.
Yeah.
But like Leno was our dude, and I just grew up loving movies as a spectator. But something about seeing every night, like the actors come on to talk about the shows that they were in, there was just something extra special about realizing that, like that's something you can do as a profession, that's a lifestyle, it's a job. And I thought that was incredible, because up till then I would just go to the movies and do like double features, triple features, and just be completely immersed in that world, and it just never clicked to me that like, there's actually people who...
I was just going to say, you didn't really get that it was actually people and a job and work and...
10,000%, yeah. So in a really weird way, that's where the seeds kind of started to be planted, but I honestly didn't get to really just explore it until I was in college, just kind of an extracurricular... escape.
Yeah, just thought, let me try it, and
it was actually my secret plan.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I talking about New York City, like I wanted to go to NYU, I wanted to go to Tisch.
Oh, great school.
100%. It's like legendary. Some really fantastic actors got their start there, and but there were. I come from a pretty traditional Asian American household. There were other plans for me, but when I was like away from home for the first time in college, I had a chance to kind of do my own thing, find out who I was, and part of that was exploring acting extracurricularly. Right. And dude, once you if it's meant for you, if it's something you're passionate about, once you contact it, it was just undeniable. It was all I thought about.
But you hit on an interesting point. How did your family react to this when you started doing more acting? Because entertainment as a whole is not considered a real job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I'm a singer and actor myself, so I hear you.
Well, we got to trade stories about your folks after this. But I guess I always tell this story about, I wrote and directed plays in college. That's what I wound up doing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I even invited my folks to see kind of, I guess it would have been my extracurricular senior thesis or whatever, but like they all just thought it was for fun. It really wasn't until I graduated that I said, Mom and Dad, I just got a job as a busboy at a steakhouse downtown. I'm going to pursue acting full-time for at least a year, see if it's something that I can imagine myself doing, and I'm going to audition. And literally my dad was just, there was a pregnant pause.
Oh, God.
And he's like, James, your mother and I have been married for over 30 years, and this is the hardest time of our marriage. And I just had a lot of conviction about, it was so effortless to me about what I was doing was the right thing. I just very instantly and without any like anger or resentment, I just said, Dad, that's not my problem. That it's your right.
Wow.
I mean, like,
wow.
I have to hear about your story with your folks, but I just feel like anytime an actor or anyone for anything that they're passionate about, finds the light to pursue it, it's like, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just like really grateful for that moment, and that eventually my parents have come full circle and they're super supportive.
Oh,
so.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, but that is quite common for artists is to come to that because it's like an itch and there's nothing else will scratch it. Is entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's actually interesting. We're here at the Imperial Legacy event, and I was reading their kind of about page, and they mentioned that they started on a platform of like mental health awareness and things like that. And I feel like a lot of other actors can identify with this, but I feel like there is something about acting. I think for that person who's especially first starting to do it, it's undeniable that there is a kind of like passive therapy that's happening there.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, for people who feel like they weren't seen or heard growing up, in addition to everything gorgeous and beautiful about it as a craft in its own right, there just is that aspect of it that is therapeutic and healing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, especially as actors, we get to explore different aspects of humanity that the rest of the population doesn't get to do.
That's very true. It's very true. I mean, if you have growing up, I guess I was just always a curious and imaginative person, and part of that was, I think, why I was just kind of electrified by watching movies, but I just loved history in school, and there's just something about those worlds that come alive when you learn about them in detail. When I think back to it, like, it's really the same thing for me, at least. Like, when you're reading history faithfully and like to be super nerdy about it, like if there's going to be a good decent textbook like that, it comes to life. And really, when I started to do formal acting, it was just really an extension of that same impulse of like other lives, other worlds coming to life. Yeah,
because again, that's a great comparison, because a lot of times when you read, you can feel what that person's going through, and that's what an actor does, is you feel what this person is and you imitate that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even just something very external or outside in, if you're even just like putting on an accent or a regionalism, that can make you feel a whole different way.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know where you're from originally, but like...
I'm originally from the Midwest, from Indiana.
Gotcha. But yeah, like, went to school in Philadelphia, stayed there for a few more years after. Like, you pick up that Delaware Valley accent, like, Mayor of Easttown-y stuff, and that makes you think and feel and fit in a completely different way. And it's kind of amazing that we can do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, fast forward to The Walking Dead. Now, how many seasons were you in The Walking Dead?
I believe it was 4. 4 beautiful...
Because I loved your character.
Oh, thanks, Tim. He was Cal, he was a protector, part of the Hilltop community. I think we're very lucky in that we got to see a very cool evolution of him, along with all the other characters.
Right.
In that,
talk about an exploration of humanity, and thrown into a situation like that. What the hell would you do? And it's such a great representation of people's reaction under those circumstances.
It is. The showrunner, like Angela Kang, Scott Gimple, and all the talented writers on that show. They in collaboration with the actors, and to be honest, every other department. I've always thought and have told everyone that the departments working on that show are just like world class, best in the business. set design, wardrobe, props. Like we had an actual.
Oh, and special effects. My God.
Oh my God! Greg Nicotero, who's an executive producer and just is a legend in horror before working on this Walking Dead collaboration. Just the level of detail. We were doing this one episode where we come upon a dead horse in the woods that some walkers are eating, and Greg is literally up to his elbows in fake blood and fake horse guts, just like making sure it's right. Like he had his SFX master hat on at that time. Yeah, and
now I love people who will roll up their sleeves and get dirty and do whatever needs to be done to get the shot or get to make the art.
We were. I think every actor who works on that show can't talk about it without talking about the heat and the humidity.
Oh God, I can only. That's Georgia, right?
It's Georgia
in the summer.
August.
Oh,
Georgia.
The bugs.
There when we were shooting in the woods, there was a snake wrangler as an official, kind of like on crew all the time sort of person that would literally walk around the area we were in looking for copperheads.
Oh my God!
For these poisonous snakes, and she found one and she would show it to us. And
oh my God!
Yeah, and there was a moment where I was getting dizzy and I had to take a break because I thought I was just, I think I was tired, so I kept drinking coffee, and then I finally realized I'm actually dehydrated because I'm like soaked through this entire.
And that could have been, like a not stroke, but a heat exhaustion, and
it could have been. Just back to your point about like the level of detail and how immersive it is. It's, we're survivalists on our own. Everything is handmade. It's like
nice.
The props and the costume department did an amazing job of like stitching together this like cross-cultural hilltop Alexandria armor, which I was wearing under a super thick shirt, underneath other arm pads, underneath the backpack, underneath like carrying other stuff. So it was like, they have glycerin if you want to show sweat marks, but it was all practical sweat, dude. It was the real deal.
That part you didn't have to act.
That's true. The exhaustion, like the actual perspiration, just let me survive. That's all real.
But when The Walking Dead first started and started taking off, it took off so fast and furious. And how was that? That would have just been hard to have kind of keep your balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It was a real cultural phenomenon. Like it was a steam train going full speed. When I was fortunate enough to join those guys, it was amazing because they're a beautiful family. Like that surviving crew, the cast and the crew. But Andrew Lincoln is just, I gotta say, like Andrew Lincoln, Lauren Cohen, Norman Reedus, just like the absolute best kind of captains and quarterbacks of a team that you'd want to be a part of. Amazing leaders, lead by example. So much generosity and exceptional ability. It's just it was fantastic to just be a part of it. They made it honestly seem easy, and it was the most kind of like real. It was just like you got there and you immediately just like got dirty playing. I think everything else about the cultural phenomenon stuff, I don't know. I guess you don't.
Did you realize just how big it was?
When the first day I ever reported to set, it was for a hair and makeup test, and I remember I was given this address that was. And I looked on the map, there was like nothing there. I was like, where is this right? Right,
is this real? Are they setting me up?
That's right. Like, is this some other show that, am I getting pranked? And I get this is literally like a road that would go in the sticks. There was like nothing around, but it would go as far as the eye could see, but there was a cop there stationed with a barricade. And I said, hi, I'm here to report for The Walking Dead. And he said, oh yeah, sure, it's just straight down this road. And right next to him there was a tree where there was a person climbed into that tree that was hanging out on a limb with a super long telescopic lens trying to film something beyond what the human eye could see. But yeah, eventually I found out that base camp was there, and I could see the level to which people were committed to capturing some kind of a spoiler or something. And of course, while I was there, a helicopter flew really close overhead, and that was some civilian helicopter that was just desperate to try to sneak some sort of a
Oh my God.
peak footage. Yeah, that's when I was like, wow, okay, this show.
This is sizable.
Yeah, there's people want to know.
Yes, absolutely. Well, now you've got your I get, is it necklace? Is that what it's called? Or
yeah, absolutely.
But so let's move on to FBI.
FBI on CBS,
Yes.
filming season 5.
How exciting!
Yeah, it's we couldn't be prouder. We're so happy. Just a beautiful group again. I'm just super lucky, like cast and crew, to be a part of. Just really rock solid writers, amazing writers room. We have the benefit of exploring this beautiful city every episode on a different location. We were in just south of Prospect Park the other day.
Yeah. Out in Brooklyn.
Out in Brooklyn, we've been all over every borough. I think I have also the added benefit of getting to spend a lot of time in our soundstage and the Joint Operations Command, where we do a lot of our kind of like central like intelligence scenes for the show, and it's just really exciting. We've kind of had an exciting end of season 4 into season 5, where Chantel Van Santen, who you might know from For All Mankind or The Boys, is doing a great recurring guest and really just killing it, and that's amazing. And our
Killing it, no pun intended. FBI.
every kind of killing it. Every kind. That's right. She leaves no stone unturned, and she's fantastic. And Missy Peregrine, our number 1, is coming back real soon. Yeah.
Oh my God, James Chen, I am so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Just continued success, and just keep enjoying what you do. It works for you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor, a pleasure to meet you.
Well, I have one favor I want to ask of you. My niece and my best friend love The Walking Dead. So if you could just say hello to Nancy and Jill.
Nancy and Jill, you are true survivors.
Thank you. I love that. Mr. James Chen, right here from The Walking Dead and FBI. I'm Tym Moss on